everyone, good morning. I'm Cheryl B. Engelhardt, and I am here to talk to you about how to increase sales with the Sonic logo. I'm going to start this whole talk with a little bit of Sonic branding, my own.
Hi, I'm Cheryl of CBE, Music LLC. I write music like this for ads, films, and TV. Sometimes I'm asked to make it funny or dark and epic or simple and sunny. I also write songs and sing them too on stage, big and small for fans already. You can find me sharing about this in books and blogs and conferences you won't want to miss. That's what's up in my CBE jingle. I write one for you that'll make your ears tingle.
So, granted, I am not a cartoon, but you get my branding, right? You get the lightness, there's the passion, there's a style of my music career. So, before we dive into Sonic logos, a quick story. I'm 8 years old. I'm at my best friend Susan's house for our first sleepover. We're in our sleeping bags, way too giddy to sleep. We hear a movie playing next door in her brother's room, and we decide to sneak in and watch it with his friends. This is what I saw. So I had nightmares for a week. My mom finally figured it out after I woke her up a couple of times in the middle of the night, and she marched me to the TV, popped in our VHS of Jaws that we had, and fast-forwarded to the scene I described. She muted the sound and told me to sit at the piano and play music that would make this scene funny. It sounded something like this. Looking back on that day, what I realized is that music can have a profound effect on the human psyche and produce real results. My nightmares never came back. And I went on to double major in college in marine biology and music. So what does this have to do with marketing and branding? Well, I'm going to provide a new way of looking at how to use original music in your marketing efforts. And I'm not talking about simply including music, which most of us know is absolutely necessary. I'm talking about crafting your marketing campaign such that it uses original music in a way that elevates your brand to ultimately increase your sales. There are a number of ways to incorporate a sonic element into your marketing campaigns that doesn't even feel like marketing. For example, you could have a 2-second animated graphic to bookend web series, episodes of your web series, like College Humor does. Or you can have a graphic logo to match a sound to use on your blog or your funding videos or your corporate videos, like the Akron Children's Hospital does. Or a loading page of an app or website. You all know that one. Or your standard jingle. You can use music to set a good first impression and make a lasting one. The first part of doing that is connection. Understanding how music provides a deep connection with your consumers is the first part to a successful sonic branding initiative. So why did I bother to show you that jingle, the cartoon jingle myself, instead of tell you who I am? Well, you know how you can barely remember the shopping list that your wife gave you this morning, but you can remember the words to a song you haven't heard in like a decade? Something like... So the music is what allows your brain to remember the words, even though you didn't sit down and say, well, let me learn the lyrics to American Pie. The auditory cortex is the part of the brain that's triggered when listening to music. Songs and melodies are stored here. Hearing is the second most memory-inducing sense after smell, not visuals. Studies have shown that when you're listening to a song that you know and the song is cut off, the brain activity continues as if it was still listening to the song. You're actually filling in the next parts of that song. This is why Alzheimer's patients can sing songs from their childhoods while not having any recollection of that era of their life. When music is planted in your brain, it becomes a part of you, and you become connected to it. This connection is the part of the relationship that consumers have with the brand. So you get your Sonic logo or jingle into someone's head, they have that connection, which leads to familiarity. Familiarity breeds consumer loyalty, which translates to sales, resales, and sharing of your products, videos, and websites. There have been dozens of studies on how music produces direct results. One study showed that keypad operators' productivity increased by 18.6% and errors decreased by 37%. Another study showed an increase in sales by 38% when music was switched from fast-paced to slow-paced. More wine was bought in restaurants when classical music was played, and more German wine was bought when German music was playing. Knowing your target audience and what you want to have happen from your use of media can greatly transform your results. If you already have a visual branding campaign, music can get you more bang for your image buck by association. This is how music applies to branding in an extremely powerful way. So, fill in the blank for me. The best part of waking up is
Folgers in your cup.
Yes! What about N, B,
C?
These guys win. You guys? Okay. So, when you heard that, how many of you actually saw coffee or that peacock logo in your head? Here's the thing. If you hear and experience a Sonic logo paired with a branding message just once, the next time you hear the sound part, you get the message without having to see it. And this works in the reverse. This is the ultimate way to get the bang for your buck for that great graphic, logo, or ad that you work so hard on. Associate it with music. So I often get asked, what's the difference between using songs, library music, or original music? Well, I'll tell you. Original music can fit your brand like a glove. Songs by famous artists are often the first desires of an ad campaign, despite the fact that this process is full of red tape and sky-high licensing fees. The thing is, if you use a famous song in your branding campaign, it's no longer your brand, it's the artist's. No matter how great the artist is, they are their own brand, so you run the risk of losing your company's voice, and you also risk negative associations that are already established with that artist or song. Beyonce is a brand. Mumford & Sons. Even opera. Use well-known music and you run the risk of supporting another brand at the cost of yours. So library music presents almost the opposite problem. You're looking for a needle in a haystack. Oftentimes this is a cheaper option, but it's extremely time-consuming, and the people looking for the tracks are often non-musical people like assistant editors. You're using music that's bland, already out there, and not catered to your message, and your consumers can tell. Original music is music that is catered to your brand and the video specifically. Ask yourself, what is your company's mission? What do you want to set up consumers emotionally? How do you want to do that? And what's your target audience? What do you want them to feel? And what do you want them to do? Do you want them to feel inspired and share a link? Do you want them to be psyched and go out and buy a product? You can work with a composer or a branding consultant to tell them this. And you can create exactly what it is you want to have happen through music, giving you greater control of your message. I'm going to show you one commercial with 3 different pieces of music on it. An original song, a song by a famous artist, a library music, and an original piece of music. The subtleties between each track the differences are subtle, but really take a look at this because it's very powerful. The first one is a song by Cheryl B.
This back-to-school season, Ziploc makes fresh lunches even better. With 2 box tops for your schools. So this year's lunches can be the best yet.
SC Johnson.
So I chose this song because I think an ad agency would have actually chosen it. It's light, it has a great consumer message, and it could work. The next track is a library track that wasn't written for anything in particular.
This back-to-school season, Ziploc makes fresh lunches even better with 2 box tops for your school. So this year's lunches can be the best yet.
SC Johnson.
Again, it works, right? It's something an editor might have pulled for the client. This last one is an original piece of music that was catered to the video and to the brand.
This back-to-school season, Ziploc makes fresh lunches even better with 2 box tops for your school. So this year's lunches can be the best yet.
SC Johnson.
So this is the piece of music that I wrote that actually ended up airing on national television. Can you tell why? It moved with every single little visual movement. It garnered that excitement about the back-to-school sentiment, and it really locked in with the light, practical branding of Ziploc. The other 2 pieces of music did some of those things, but this is really an all-or-nothing conversation when you're committed to giving your all to your customers. So ultimately, music is a tool. It catches attention and draws interest as a tool of entertainment. It's a tool of communication that says that you care, that you're creative, that you can afford quality, and that it matters to you how your message lands for them. It's also a tool for delivering slogans. The ego of tone of voice is removed when you put a slogan to music. For example, if I were to say, the best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup, you may be like, nobody tells me the best part of waking up. So that abrasive hard sell is removed when you put a slogan to music. So, to summarize, if you craft your branding campaign with original music in the form of a jingle, a sonic logo, or even a sound effect, you will greatly increase the value of your visuals. You'll create new connections with your audience. You'll see unprecedented results. You'll use association to reach a wider fan base. You'll have a perfectly fitted campaign, and you will be using all of the tools in your tool belt. Your target audience will feel connected to you, therefore have a familiarity and develop a serious consumer loyalty, which of course ends up in sharing of your products, return customers, and sales. Sounds good, right? Thank you guys for being with me today. Again, I'm Cheryl Engelhardt. Please reach out to me if you want to talk about your marketing campaigns, and I'm actually setting up 10, 15-minute free consultations to talk about sonic branding in your company. So find me in the back afterwards, and we can schedule that today if you're interested. Again, thank you so much for having me, and enjoy your time in Austin.